Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Late Night at the Lounge here on Dead Money Sports. We are just wrapping up the conclusion of the second game of Monday Night Football. Was not a very entertaining game unless you were one of the people who had Denver. I mean, they are covering the 7.5. They're covering all numbers right now. But if you had the over, if you had any touchdown props or anything like that with the Bengals, boy, I feel for you because this was a tough game to watch. I just saw something on X from DraftKings. They had a picture of Jameis Winston in a Bengals uniform with "Is it time?" Yeah, it's time. I think he'd actually be good with these receivers because one thing Jameis Winston's going to do is throw the fucking ball down the field. To who? We don't know, but he's going to give somebody an opportunity to make a play. But so here we are. It is the end of week 4. And boy, did we have a hell of a week or weekend. If you joined me on Saturday for the pick release show, you'll know that the picks I had for the college football parlay, I went 0-4. I thought, man, I hope this isn't a sign of things to come. Well, I must have had it all left on Saturday because on Sunday we went 4-0, and today the Miami Dolphins covered the 2.5 against the Jets. So we got our first 5-0 of the week. Perfect. And the parlay, if you would have parlayed these 5 games together, was around 24-1. So it would have been a hell of a nice payday if you tailed. But so we got our first 5-0, and we're sitting at 11-9 right now. 2 games above 500, or 1 game above 500. But we're gonna be. I'll have to wait until they put the picks into the system from the second game. But we should be Dead Money Sports should be right inside the top 1,000 of the contest, with 5,600 in the contest. So it's not bad. After 4 weeks, we're right there. I think we're 13. We have 11. 13 points would put you in the money. Now, let me see. I'm not sure if it's refreshed or not. It might have to wait. All right. I think this is it. Yeah, I think we got it concluded. But so this week, in week 4, again we went 5-0. Big time come up. The top 5 selections ended up going 2-3, with the Vikings not covering, the Falcons covering, the Chargers not covering, Rams covering in crazy fashion, and the Packers not covering when they tied the Cowboys. But we were on the 2 that covered, the Falcons and the Rams. So, yeah, the Rams was lucky as hell because that was such a weird game when the Colts were winning by 4, the way the math was going to work out, the 3.5 wasn't going to get covered. Then they the Rams turned the ball over. The Colts kicked the field goal, which makes it a 7-point game. And now all of a sudden there's a possibility for, what happens at the end where the Rams tie the game. And now we have an opportunity somehow if they score a touchdown to cover the 3.5, the blown coverage, 10 men on the field. And this is how you get a 5-0. You get lucky like that. Falcons dominated. The Giants looked good in that one. They were always in control within the number. New England, boy, did they put on a performance. The special teams, especially their kick returner, had a hell of a game, man. I was jumping up and down watching that game. I must have jumped out of this chair about 20 times this Sunday with some of the plays. And then who else did we have? We had the Falcons. I said that. The Rams. That was in a crazy finish. And then today the Dolphins. They were in control, but they started to make me sweat. Especially when they gave up that last touchdown because Fields moved that ball down the field quickly. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Here's the game where somebody actually recovers the onside kick. They went for 2. They got it, which meant that if they would have gotten the ball and gotten an opportunity to score a touchdown, they could have won the game with just an extra point. So good that we were able to hold on again for the 5-0. It's on to next week. Like I said, it's on to next week. But I guess we can bring this up first. So the first quarter is over. And it looks like there's going to be 4 entries tied for first place. And look it. He is the one who was 14-1. What did I say on Saturday? Goes 2-3 and completely drops out of the money. Because you get first, second, and third, but because there's 4 entries, they will combine the money, and these 4 entries are going to split it. So $250,000 divided 4 ways as far as what it's showing right now. I'm pretty sure this is up to date because it's showing everybody as having their Week 4 records, 5 games with the Miami and Cincinnati game over. Or Denver game over. Yeah, Denver, Cincinnati. Yeah, because right here. Denver. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Because this one says 4-0. So that would move that person up to 16. Is there anyone else? Is there anyone with 16 that could move up to 17? I don't think so. No. Yeah, it looks like it's 4. Congratulations to Scrim67. He hit me up on X. I congratulated him on winning, and he doesn't live in Nevada, so he's gonna have to come out to get the big check and get the big money and the big check. So what is it? 250 divided by 4 is 125, 50, 65,000 a piece. Is that right? Somewhere 6250. I think it is right. 6250. 25. Yeah. So 6,250. Figure they're probably going to have to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 grand in taxes, depending on what state they live in, between the federal and state tax. So each one of them is going to end up with about 50 grand a piece when it's all said and done. So not bad payday for 4 weeks of picking football picks and $1,000 entry fee. I mean, this says champ 2, so he's got at least 2. Most of these ones just say 1, so I don't know how many entries. I'd have to look and see how many entries they actually have. But regardless, they're in the black. They're out of the red. They're no longer down. They're up for the year. But yeah, Renchi was in first place because they went 4-1. And then Odd Couple was also tied. And then these two, Scrim and Champ, good time to go 5-0. One had Miami, and this he already had his portion locked up. But yeah, congratulations to those four, and sorry to he is the one. But them's the breaks, man. One of these games, if Vegas makes the field goal, he walks away with a portion of that money, 50 grand. Mm, mm, mm. This one was never really. This was the Giants were always in control of the Chargers game, and Buffalo was always. That game was really close until the end too, where the Saints had a chance. Man, they don't throw that stupid interception um, there with Olave, and they score points there, especially a touchdown. That's a sweat, especially considering that Buffalo was the top pick in the Survivor. But yeah, so here we go. Four people splitting the first quarter prize in the Circa Millions contest. About $66,250, or yeah, $62,500 each. They should get. All right. Now moving on to the Survivor. There was a couple of big losers this weekend, but not the major one. The Chargers losing and the Packers losing were the two big ones that put out. I think there's 11,000 and almost 50 entries that were eliminated in week 4. I don't remember. Where's Denver and Bengals? Okay, the Broncos won, so they're good to go. There was one person on the Bengals, so they lost that one. And then the Dolphins had 54. They won. Jets had 2, so they lost 2. So, yeah, about 1,150 entries were eliminated in week 4. We still haven't seen the big downfall just yet, but, a couple of the Bills, that was, close until the end. Texans were always in control. Lions were pretty much, that was a battle until the end, and they took control. The Patriots never in doubt. Chargers lost, Packers lost, Rams, I mean, that definitely could have gone the other way, but there was only 78. Like I said, after these right here, these 7, it's really, there's not even more than 100 on each selection. Niners knocked out 56. Vikings took out 38. Raiders took out 15. Cardinals 4. Titans 2. Yeah, and then 24 no picks. Just unbelievable. How do you make it this far into a contest that that's, life-changing opportunity? You've survived into the week 4, which there was 18,600 to start, so you've already had 5,000 eliminated, and you don't put your pick in. I don't get it. And then last but not least, the Grandissimo, the big $100,000 pay entry fee contest. 58 entries at $6.9 million to the winner. No one was eliminated with the Broncos winning tonight. The Chargers, two were eliminated on the Chargers on Sunday. I'm sorry, there wasn't anybody eliminated tonight. So we're down to 56 entries in this contest. Going from 68, what is that, 15% or so? So they're, yeah. Mm, mm, mm. They must be big bettors or something. I know some of these are groups. Like you've got some that are like, some people put like 50,000 each in or 25,000 each in to enter this, because it is, it's not going to make it all 20 weeks. So it is a way to try to win $6.9 million as a group. Wouldn't be too bad of a year's salary. But yeah, hell of a week. Hell of a weekend, man. Hell of a weekend. 5-0. 5-0. 11-9 currently. Let me see. I think I can check. It should be on here now. I can check my entry. Yeah, I am. We are currently, according to the Fantasy Super Contest website, we are currently in 691st place. So we're basically ahead of 5,000 entries at 11 and 9. 11 points, 55% winning percentage right now. Yeah, I feel bad for this. He is the one. Yeah, 5th place. Mm, mm, mm. Damn, that's tough. Tough, tough, tough. What are you gonna do, man? I told you it's the hardest week is the final week because it's the one where you really can't mess up or else you're in trouble. You've wasted all that those consecutive weeks of going because I know the Scrimmy 67 here, one of the winners, the one I spoke to, or yeah, on X, he went 4-1. Like we can look at it. It might take a second to load. He went 4-1 3 weeks in a row. You know what I mean? That's incredible. And then goes 5-0 week 4. That takes balls of steel. You know what I mean? To know that you essentially have to go at least 4-1, but he needed the 5-0. He had to go 5-0 in order. Yeah, here we go. He had to go 5-0 in order to hit the 17. So, yeah, it takes some good picking. New Orleans plus 15. You know, he took New Orleans plus the points, laid it with New England, took Atlanta, took the Giants, took the Rams. We were on these 4 together. Yeah, we had New England, Atlanta, Giants, and the Rams. So, yeah, we had these 4 as well. And throw in the Dolphins here for number 5 for me. But, yeah. I mean, if you look right here, this in the Super Contest last year, they finished 370th. So, he has experience in the contest. But he's now got a cashed payday. Not too bad for 4 weeks of work. But now it's just now for me having put together a strong week that we needed to get back into the hunt inside the top 1,000 here is to follow it up with another one. You know what I mean? We can't squander going 5-0 by having a fucking 1-4 or worse week next week. I don't even want to go less than 3-2. We have to have winning weeks in order to. We got to make up ground with the leaders. First place, there's 4 people at 17 points. So, you know, you're already 6 points behind the top people. Even though I know from experience those guys will fall back. They're not going to keep picking at 85%. It's not feasible. The thing to do is you got to capitalize on it by having a good week when they struggle. But now we know where we're at again. 691st, so right underneath 700. 2 points. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. I can tell you. Where's the top 100 right now? Okay, right here. So there is there's 132 people total tied within that would get money right now, and they have 14. So we are 3 points. We are 3 points behind where the money is because these guys, everybody's all tied at 40th, and you can see it flips from 123 to 124. So that means total from first place to here, those are the paid positions right now, and that is 14, and we're at 11. So we're 3 points behind. So we can't have negative weeks. Got to be 3-2 or better. Hopefully, putting together another 5-0. But man, it feels good. It feels good. Like after the early slate, we were 3-0. Um, so I was like, all right, I know we're at least gonna have a winning week, you know. And then we got the luckiest game ever with the Rams. You know, with the not only did the kid drop the ball going in for a touchdown, which would have completely changed the outcome of that game. Um, we end up getting the touchdown when the Rams just needed a field goal to win, and they 10 men on the field and the guy fell down. Tutu Atwell scores the I think it was 80 or 85 or 75-yard touchdown, whatever it was. But I threw up the deuces when I saw him catch the ball, and it was still a sweat. Still had to sweat them not going down and scoring. But all right, so let's take a look at next week's spreads. We can look at everything and see anything that I do have some games that I'm kind of intrigued by. With the Monday picks. Now, obviously, Thursday night football. I'm not putting this on the card because of the injury, because of the having to put all 5 picks in at once, so we can scratch that. But I don't know, man. The 49ers played well against the Jags. They just had a bunch of turnovers. The Jags, look at that. They got what, 13 turnovers already this 13 turnovers already this season? Crazy. Crazy what they're doing down there in Jacksonville. But you know, 5.5. That's a big number for a division game on short rest. But the Rams are pretty healthy, and the 49ers are beat up. So I'd have to take the points with the 49ers and just hope they can keep it close. I think they can. Mm. Take the under 47. It's going to be a slog. Purdy will be one week back from injury. Another week back from injury. He should play better. This is an interesting game because the Browns' defense. This is one of the ones I have circled. The Browns' defense is really good. Their offense is not good. The Vikings are playing their second game internationally, so they're going to be adjusted because Dublin to London is only a 9-hour drive, so it's not really that far. So they're going to be in the same time zone, whatever. Meanwhile, the Browns are coming over off another game where they were battling, but Detroit's just so much better offensively than they are, and you just can only stop them for so long. They're Detroit's just so good right now. They're probably I think they're the best team right now, if not the Buffalo Bills. But the Buffalo Bills defense is flawed. We saw that with the Saints. Um, Detroit, they do have some weaknesses, but I think they're the best team right now. Yeah, they're definitely in the consideration. The Rams are too. Yeah, Detroit and Philly on a neutral field. I think Detroit wins right now. So yeah, they're the best. Next up, the Dolphins and the Panthers. Man, first of all, glad Dolphins got the win. Sucks that Tyreek Hill. His season's over at least, and he's probably not even going to be able to be on the field for the start of next season if he even decides to play any more football. Who knows what he's going to do? I mean, somebody with his kind of desire to compete isn't going to want to go out on a stretcher, but it's the road to recovery for Tyreek Hill is long. So they're down their most dangerous offensive player. Their defense struggled against the run with the Jets, but the Jets just couldn't. They kept shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and shit like that and negative plays. Then they caused a bunch of turnovers. The Dolphins did, which is always random. I mean, the one right down at the goal line, that was huge when he punched the ball out. But I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers here. Even though I know Carolina got, it looked like they got their ass whooped by the Patriots, and they did get their ass whooped by the Patriots. They actually were not that bad statistically head to head in that game. It was the special teams for the um, Patriots that really broke that game wide open. And now the Panthers are going to be at home, where they played well against the Falcons when they won 2 weeks ago, 30-0. So I think Miami coming in off this big win on Monday night, short rest. Carolina at home. I'm on the home dog in this one, and I'll take the over 44.5 also on this one. I think there's going to be points in this one. They can run the ball. The Panthers can run the ball well. That's actually what they do well. And the Dolphins, as we saw tonight, could not do shit against the run. Secondary's thin as hell. They've actually got some halfway decent receivers. And if this offensive line can protect Bryce Young, I think he can have a good game against this Dolphins defense. And without Tyreek Hill, I don't know. They're a wounded animal. They're wounded right now, and I think the Panthers defense could maybe take advantage. So give me the Panthers plus the points. I'm definitely looking at that one, but I'll be betting it regardless if it doesn't make the card. Another game um, I'm looking at. I like the Colts minus the 6.5 here. The Raiders played their best game against Chicago and still lost at home when they couldn't make a field goal, couldn't block. And the Colts, I mean, again, you don't take away that touchdown from Mitchell. It's a totally different ball game. And then what are we talking about here? The Colts are 4-0. They're at home, and they're coming off a win on the road against a really good Rams team. This line would be almost probably 9.5. So I'm not punishing the Colts because of their performance last week, because you remove one or two mistakes. There was a holding call by Mitchell again on that run by Jonathan Taylor that would have been like a 70-yard touchdown right at the end of the game there that would have given the Colts the lead as well. So, I mean, you just take away, those two mistakes, and that's a totally different game. So yeah, I'm not giving up on the Colts or Daniel Jones. They showed me something. They showed me that they can play. They just gotta get the details down. So I'm looking at laying the 6.5 here with the Colts. This is the punt. This is when we're going to start seeing the cream of the crop rise up. I mean, fuck me. I think Geno Smith had another 3 interceptions in that game. If Chicago's offense could have just done something with those turnovers, man, they could have. It would have been a much more lopsided victory for Chicago. And the Colts have an offense. They're going to get Pierce back probably because he was out with a concussion. So he'll probably clear concussion protocol by the game time this week. So that means they're going to have their full arsenal of pieces for Daniel Jones. And I think they're going to be upset about losing that game the way they did. So, yeah, I'm riding Colts, I think, in this week. I'm definitely betting this one. You might want to get it soon before it goes up. I expect this one to be, I don't want to say it's low scoring. I would take the over 47.5 because I think the Colts will put up at least 31 points by themselves. 31-20, maybe. 31-21. 31-24. Somewhere in that area. Giants and Saints, another one. Another one. This is dropping. The Saints were the home dog. And now that Malik Neighbors news is just everybody's seeing that the writing on the wall, because I had it. Monday morning. It was New Orleans plus 2.5. So yeah, it's flipped completely. I still think the Saints are the right side though. Yeah, Saints haven't played half bad. Um, they did lose one of their key offensive linemen, Ruiz, but the Giants' offense is going to be even neutered more with uh, Malik Neighbors out. So I definitely like the Saints in this one. It was on the card because I had my Monday morning first thoughts. It was plus 2.5 with New Orleans, so I was like, oh yeah, definitely, I'm all over that. There's no way after the performances I've seen from New Orleans that they're not they're Rattler does make young quarterback mistakes, but he hasn't played that bad. He didn't throw that interception. Olave did. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't his call. That was the coach's call to run that Philly special play. Texans and Ravens. What's up with Baltimore, man? There's all kinds of injuries. The Texans' offense still is not good. They just beat up on a very thin, very inexperienced, very lacking in talent Titans team, and their defense was missing some key players as well. I don't have a clue about this game. We don't even know what's going on with Lamar. They're being all fucking cloak and dagger about this hamstring injury. Now they've lost Matabuke for the year with the neck injury. Kyle Hamilton, I think, went on the IR for 4 weeks. I mean, this defense, guys are dropping like flies all of a sudden. And they were having a hard time stopping people before. I mean, even with the Ravens scoring 40 points a game, they're 1-3. And I can't trust this Texans offense. It was like 6-0 for like ever in that game against the Titans. Like, where the hell is the offense? Look at the total 42.5, 43.5. And that's with the Ravens and their offense that's scoring over 30 points a game. I think they're not expecting Lamar to play. And if they are, they're expecting this to be the Texans to be able to handle their offense. Their offensive line is bad, though. I don't know. I don't have any clue about this one. It wasn't in my. It's not even on my radar as anything I've been looking into. Here we go. Broncos and Eagles. Showing 5 here, but I doubt it. This is probably going to be the real number, 3.5. It was 4.5 this morning, but after they just won 28-3 against Cincinnati, it's people are getting in on Denver, and that was the side I liked. I liked the Denver with 4.5. The Eagles' luck factor has been like outrageously high. The amount of lucky breaks they've gotten in games, and they're bound for a regression. And this is probably the best defense. One of the better defenses they're going to play this season. And if Bo Nix can just not turn the ball over. Saquon hasn't looked like himself. Looked like the running back from last season. This year he hasn't had that big game, and I don't think he's going to have it against this Broncos defense. I'm definitely taking the 3.5 with Denver. Be careful of the fishy 3.5 lines, though. This is what the number was last week against the Bucks, and they covered. So people are going to see that. Another low total, 43.5. Jets and Cowboys at the Jets. I didn't. I don't have much of an opinion on this one. I don't know what the deal is with the Jets. Although I will say I think the Jets will be able to run the ball on the Cowboys defense. I mean, they did run the ball pretty well against the Dolphins tonight. The penalties really hurt them, and turnovers really hurt them. If they could clean up the turnovers and penalties, I don't see why they can't beat the Cowboys at home. And they're catching 2.5. I'm gonna have to dig into this a little bit deeper because everybody saw the Cowboys put up 40 against that Green Bay defense, but I don't know. There was a lot of motivation going into that week's game, and there's always room for a letdown spot where you after the high of that game to come crashing down, and they've got to go to MetLife, so Jets fans are going to be hopefully out there and making noise. So we're going to have to look into this one a little bit deeper. Titans and Cardinals. I mean, this is just disgusting because I have no clue what's going on with the Titans. Like, is Cam Ward going to start figuring it out? I know he doesn't have very good pieces around him. The Cardinals, the drops, like, right? If Marvin Harrison doesn't drop a couple of passes, what are we saying about this team? They're already not bad. They had an opportunity to win that game against Seattle. They kept fighting. Their defense played well. But 8.5 is a big number. So I'm probably not going to have anything to do with this game. I know it didn't even make any of my early games to really want to dig into a little bit deeper. Look at this total, 41.5. With a total like that, you almost have to take the points with the Titans and just hold your nose, especially after they got shut out. Because when teams that get shut out, normally the next week they play better. Look at the Falcons, for instance. I know they do have a rookie quarterback, but the guy's got talent. It's just the coaching's not the best. They lack depth on defense. The offensive line has not been very good, and they don't really have the big name star on offense. Like, who is their guy? Calvin Ridley? You know what I mean? Like, he's okay, but he's like a number 2 receiver on most teams. Maybe even number 3. Bucks and Seahawks. This is a great game. Buccaneers getting some pieces back. They were in that game. They had a real chance. They could have won that game against Philly, even with the turnovers. If Baker cleans up the game and doesn't have any interceptions or anything, they definitely have an opportunity to beat the Seahawks here. We know that the Bucks are going to try to stop the run, which they could probably do against the Seahawks, and make Darnold beat them, and they can get pressure on the quarterback. So that's one thing that messes him up. And they've got big body receivers that can body up these Seahawk DBs. So with the 3.5, I would have to take Tampa Bay. Now it's not in my top 5 or any of the ones that I've come up with so far, but I'm keeping an eye on this game, keeping an eye on the injury report, seeing who's going to be playing this week for Tampa Bay, who's going to be playing for the Seahawks, and if it stays at 3.5 for the contest, this could make the card. 44.5. So again, another low total game. Not too low, but not too high. So why wouldn't you take the points if this is supposed to be a rock fight? This is going to be 2 defenses battling it out, trying to shut down the offenses. And we know Baker will sling it. You take the points, especially if it's more than a field goal. And everybody's going to be happy with the Seahawks for winning against the Cardinals and upset at the Bucks for losing against the Eagles last week. Human psychology plays just as much of a key in these spreads for the NFL as the actual mathematic part of it. Lions and Bengals. Woof. After the performances tonight, the only side you could take is the Lions, laying the 8.5. But I'm not. This won't. I actually had Detroit -7 from Sunday night, which seemed like a good number. So yeah, now it's at 8.5. So can't do it. This won't make the card either way. But the only side at 8.5, man, I just can't get in this. And I'd probably take under 49.5 just because I don't think the Lions are going to break out all their fancy special gadget plays. Once they get a lead out on the Bengals, I think they're just going to turn their defense loose, run the ball, cram it down their weak defense, and chew up clock. And then when the Bengals get the ball, I don't think they're going to be able to move it. And so this will be a low scoring game. So, yeah, this will be like 27-13 or some shit like that, 27-14. So, yeah, give me the under 49.5. But I want nothing to do with the spread. No, thank you. No, thank you. Fluky shit happens in games like that. Commanders at Chargers, another good game. The Chargers, they lost to the Giants, but that was a funny game. I mean, you got a offensive line or defensive lineman interception. That was great. Rookie quarterback making his first start. Everybody gets charged up about it. And then you got the Commanders who lost to the Falcons. Didn't look terrible, but weren't great either. They got gashed on the ground. But they're going to be getting back their quarterback. Jaden Daniels should be back this week. They also should back McLaurin and maybe even Noah Brown. So their offense is going to be back. Chargers defense is not, the top of the tier defense. So the Commanders have an opportunity here. I'm taking the points with Washington if I take anything here. 47.5. I think this is a fair number. This is like right around it. I wouldn't mess with the total. If you can get the full 3 still, if you can find it, because it's showing 2.5s at most places. But if you can find, look, it's juiced to 115. I would still do the minus 115 for the full field goal with the Commanders. Sunday Night Football. Patriots off that big win for us against Carolina. One of our wins this week in the 5-0. Taking on the Buffalo Bills in the game where they, played with their food for a while with the Saints, let them stick around. And now they're going in. You're getting 8.5 with the Patriots. I can't get in front of the freight train that is the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, because if you look at the Bills, since Josh Allen's been their quarterback over the last couple of years, when the Buffalo Bills win games, they win by double digits. I mean, they won by double digits against the Saints. They just didn't win by enough. They won by 12 or whatever it was. I think it might have been 15 or something like that. They were right around the number there, and they were giving up 15.5. And now everybody's going to be like, fuck that. They're not going to want to lay a big number with the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks in a row when they got burned last week. But the right side in this is to take the Buffalo Bills minus the points. Try to see if you can get a better one. It might be better as the week progresses. I wouldn't bet it right now because you're seeing 7.5 here, 8.5. A lot of people are going to want to take the Patriots, especially after the performance they had against a not good Carolina Panthers team. Now you're getting the number 1 or number 2 power rated team in the NFL, Buffalo Bills. And I think they're going to be getting Oliver and I'm drawing a blank, but it's their other defensive player back that's been on the Matt Milano. That's been on the injuries, been out with injuries. So their defense is going to maybe be back to full strength, or at least getting back a bunch of their key players. So it's tough laying big numbers with teams, but if you like the Buffalo Bills, which I do because they're at home, you have to lay the big number. I would, like I said, though, try to see if it gets better. Don't lay the 8.5. See if we can get it all the way down to 7.5. But when Buffalo Bills win, they win by double digits. I might even have to add that one to the card. That one, I'm going to have to look at some of the other information that's going to come out as the week progresses. Obviously, you can join me on Thursday night. We are going to have the watch party for the Thursday night football game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Rams, and we'll talk more about this Buffalo Bills game. I'll have more information regarding that. But the final game is Monday night, and that's the Jags at the Chiefs, the Jaguars. 13 turnovers so far, 4 games. Offense does not look great. I like them at plus 4.5 early in the week. The line's moving down. It's now 3.5 everywhere. The 4.5's got bought up already. I didn't add it to the new picks, though. That was Sunday's picks when I was going over the numbers on Sunday for week 5. So, yeah, I mean, it's already moving against us. But the 45.5, the Jags, I mean, they're living off turnovers. That is not sustainable, first of all. You're not going to get 3 turnovers a game all season long. It just doesn't happen. And now they're going to go up against Patrick Mahomes, who does actually put the ball in harm's way. Patrick Mahomes every year has a lot of like turnover-worthy throws. He just seems to get away with it more because defensive guys drop him. They can't catch the ball. But he also likes to put the ball in harm's way. The Chiefs look great against the Ravens. You know, everybody's back on the Kansas City bandwagon. But I mean, the Jags offense, running-wise, doesn't look half bad. And offensively throwing the ball, it just Trevor Lawrence, for a guy who's being paid like he is being paid as one of the highest quarterbacks in the NFL, you wouldn't think he would make as many bad throws throughout the game as he does. But I don't know. The guy can win, though. That's one thing. And you're getting, if you can get the hook, 3.5. I mean, again, it's back-to-back fishy lines. They were plus 3.5 last week against the 49ers, and they ended up covering the spread or winning the game outright, not even needing the points. That was one of the ones I said was a fishy line with San Francisco. That's why I didn't want to mess with it. Now we've got another fishy line, because the Jags are the home dogs against Kansas City, getting more than a field goal at home after they just won as a 3.5-point dog on the road. Again, like I said, I liked it early, 4.5. Now it's at 3.5, and I doubt it's going to get any better as the week progresses. It might just stay at 3.5. It might even get to 3 by the time they release the actual contest number. So we'll need to make more of a decision on that one later on in the week during the Thursday night watch party, the Thursday night football watch party, and the line release show. I'll have a better feeling of we'll know what the line is for the weekend. I'll have a better feeling of where we're at with this game. But like I said, I like the Jags at plus 4.5 early. I like them Sunday. But all right. So that is my opinion for the week 5 matchups early on. I hope everybody else had a great and successful week. I hope that you've tailed and parlayed the 5 NFL contest show picks as we had our first 5-0. And again, we are now 11-9 on the year, sitting at 691st place. That's better than 5,000 other entries, so not bad. We're 3 points out of the money right now. We're 14 points is where the money is, so we need another big week. So I'm going to put the time in. But hopefully you tailed. Hopefully you made some money. I want everybody to take care of themselves this week. Be sure to join us Thursday night for the Thursday night contest show. And then join us again on Saturday at around, it usually starts at 6 o'clock. At 6 p.m. Pacific for the NFL contest show pick release. And then after the pick release show, we're going to have the discussion about the selections for all the contests here in Las Vegas. But to everyone out there, I hope everyone had a great weekend. I hope you cashed all your bets. I want everyone to take care of themselves and have a great week.